We have one more person that would like to say something. Yeah. Councilwoman LaFontaine.
And I'm so sorry. We had council meeting tonight, and so it just ended, and I didn't want to miss a vigil honoring Tatyana. So first, just watching and seeing so many people here is just a reminder how much this young lady was loved. Where's her mom?
She's not here.
She's not here? Okay. Her big sister. And the family's here. You know what's so devastating about this whole situation is that, you know, we've constantly talked about, one, I knew this little girl. She grew up in my family church. She was on Legion d'honneur, which is like this leadership mentorship group that my dad started. I was on Legion d'honneur. There are many youth from Elmwood Avenue Church of God who are here who are Legion d'honneur. She was an amazing young woman. She didn't do anything wrong. In fact, she was being a teenager, right? She was hanging out with someone her mom said, you know, don't hang out with, and she was in a car. And someone with a rifle shot and killed her for nothing. For nothing. She had so much potential. And when I say she was so beautiful, so beautiful. And so, you know, I was thinking today, well, maybe I should write something. What can I say about this? Because we talk about gun violence and we talk about creating opportunities for our young people, creating leadership and mentorship program. But this girl was part of all of that. She was engaged in all of those things. She came from a community where she was loved. She was loved. So what do you say to that? What do you say to that? How do you tell a mother to have faith? What I hope, as we think about Tatyana, how her life was cut short in such a horrific way, I want you all to think about the choices that you all make, the choices that people in your circle might make, and how we as a community can think about ways to work together. Because see, this rash of violence is not just happening in Providence. Tatyana lived in Cranston. She has a strong community in the city of Providence. She went to church in the city of Providence. She got shot in Kentucky. Regardless of what city these acts of violence occur in, it impacts all of us. Every single one of us. Every single one of us. So it's important that we think about how we as a community can work together regardless of what community you're from, whether you're from the Latino community, whether you're from the African American, the Black immigrant community, whether you're from, you know, the Caucasian community, whatever, whether you live in Pawtucket, Southside, wherever, we have to work together to stop this violence because it takes innocent people's lives. People who have nothing to do with what's happening, with the conflicts, with the gang wars, who are not a part of this life. It takes their lives. It takes their lives. So there are people who are watching the news who are going to watch this. What I do ask, if you know who committed this crime, speak up. Speak up, because a mother is going to bury her child. Her 19-year-old, earlier that day, who was in church, who was in a wedding. She's going to bury her child who did absolutely nothing, who was doing the right thing, who was taking classes, got enrolled in Europe, who was a Sunday school, a kids' church teacher. She buries her child, a child who was trying to do everything right. So my sister's organization, We Are Sis, honored her last year when she graduated. And she spoke, and I read what she wrote. She spoke about how it's been very challenging. right, this past year. But she was so happy that she made it. And her parents were so proud of her. And when I went and saw her mother yesterday, Tia said to me, you know what, I'm a single mom. And when I watched my daughter graduate from high school to start her own life as an adult, I felt like I did it. I did it. I did it by myself. I did it. I did it. And just like that, that little girl's dreams were crushed. They were crushed. So what I ask of all of you, because this, it has to stop. I know personally too, the impact of gun violence. I lost a dear friend, someone I love. Very similar. Walking out of a store in New York City. Had nothing to do with whatever conflict was going on, but someone was standing outside. And you know what? Someone spotted them and they started shooting, and that one bullet hit him in the head and killed him instantly. And you know what? His murder is still unsolved. Still unsolved. So what I ask is, when you see these acts of violence that are happening, if you know about it, speak up. Speak up. Speak up. Because this is our community. And some of these feuds, they have no substance. To think about what people are fighting for. You can get shot for stepping on someone's foot. You can get shot for no reason at all. And the access to these weapons. There's so many elected officials who think, well, if we pass legislation, then you're violating my rights. How about violating the rights and humanity and quality of life of so many people who are being killed? She was shot with a rifle. Come on. We have to do better. We have to pass legislation. We have to speak up. My son is 19 years old. He's going to be 19 in September. The thought of losing him blows my mind. I can't even imagine that. We have to do better. And I know sometimes you see things that are happening and it's hard to speak up. But if you don't speak up, this is what happens, because people continue to shoot. They continue to hurt each other. And it's unfair. It's unfair. Because this, we cannot justify. We cannot. So I challenge everyone who's here today that when you leave here, you make a choice. You make a choice to be a part of stopping the violence in our, not just the city of Providence, but in our state. You make that choice by speaking up if you see something that's happening that should not happen. You make a choice to serve as a mentor to a young person who needs help. You make a choice to support that single mother. You make a choice to show love to people who come from different backgrounds than you. And what I do hope is that that young man she was with that night she got shot, I hope he thinks about what happened. He thinks about this little girl that was shot, who saw his humanity, who saw his humanity. I hope he has some compassion in his heart to also speak up and to tell the authorities who did it, so that we can stop this violence. So, to the family, I am so sorry. I don't know what I can give you, how I can take this pain away. I can't. Son bagay mwen pa ka kompren. Epi mwen pa ka aksepte. But what I do hope is that we can continue on Tatyana's legacy, and we as a community are going to do better so that this does not continue to happen. So thank you.
I'd also like to recognize the City of Pawtucket, the mayor of Pawtucket is here in support, the chief of Pawtucket is in support. Thank you for coming. We know that you're going to do everything in your power to bring justice to this family. So thank you, everybody.